Get ready for an underwater adventure. Today we are going to start your scuba self-portraits. Hello artists. Today we are going to be working on your self-portraits, and the first step will be to find the perfect match to your skin tone. So you will receive a little bit of white paint, a little bit of peach, and a little bit of brown paint. All of us have different skin tones. That's what makes us so unique and different and beautiful. So you need to find the right mixture that matches you. So please don't just mix up your whole palette when you get it. This is your time to experiment. So I'm going to start by putting a little bit of peach paint right on my paper and then kind of testing it out to see if that matches. Now that looks a little bit darker than what I need, so I'm gonna add a little bit of white. Now if yours needs to be a little bit darker, you could add a little bit of brown. So you're going to kind of play around with mixing the colors until you feel like you have a good match. Okay, so that's a little bit closer to what I would be. And now I know that I need to use about half of the peach and about half of the white for mine. Everyone's gonna be a little bit different. So play around with trying to match your skin tone with the paint, and then we'll be able to get started on your portraits. Now you're going to get your real paper, but if you want to take some of the paint from your test paper to get started, that's fine. I'm just starting by making an oval, a nice big oval, right in the center of my paper. I like to start small and then have it expand, so I keep adding rings to the outside until I get the shape and size that I want. We do not want to have an itty bitty tiny little head, so make sure that your face is about the size of your hand would be a good estimate for what we're going for. After you have the oval for your face right in the center, you are going to add your neck. Your neck should be just a little bit smaller width than your face. And then from there, you're going to add shoulders going out. Now, if your face is closer to the bottom of the page, you may not have room for shoulders, or you may have a little bit more if your head was towards the top. Now we're moving on to hair. So rinse out your paintbrush, dry it off because we don't want really watery paint for this. And you are just going to paint your hair. Now, because these are going to be an underwater portrait, feel free to have your hair floating above you in the water if you'd like, or if you'd rather do a more traditional, have your hair down to the side, that is also just fine. You can play around with how you want your hair to look in the portrait. And finally, we're going to add a swimsuit. So you'll choose another color, and because our paint from our skin tone is still a little bit wet, the paint may mix together just a little bit. That's okay. Just try to layer it on heavy so that you do get some of that color. If you don't want to go for the tank top swimsuit look and you want more of a scuba suit, feel free to add extra paint further up and towards the sides. Whichever style swimsuit you want is just fine. Now it's time to add details with oil pastels. We're going to start with a white oil pastel to make your eyes. You'll go about halfway down your face and draw a curve on top and a curve on bottom, and then color that in, kind of a football shape. And then again on the other side, and try to make it as similar as possible so that your face is symmetrical or the same on both sides. Next up, we will grab a black oil pastel and we're going to outline that shape. And then we'll add the iris. That's the colored part of your eye. So you'll do a nice big circle and then smaller circles for the pupils inside and eyelashes as well. All of this was with black oil pastels. Now you can find the color that best matches your eye color and fill in the irises. And then we will make the scuba mask or the face mask. So you can choose whatever color you'd like and draw a nice big line going all the way across the forehead and then down and around your eyes. We're going to make this a bold line, so you'll want to add parallel lines and color those in so we have a nice thick area for the face mask. And now I'm finding a light brown color for the nose. I'm just doing a very simple shape. You could do a curved L shape, or you could just do the bottom part of your nose. Next up is the mouth. I'm only going to draw the top part of my mouth, so just my top lip. You could use pink or white or a tan color. The reason we're only doing the top lip is because the bottom lip is covered up by our scuba gear. So we're going to draw a nice big rectangle under the top lip and then a curved set of parallel lines going all the way up to meet our hair. If your hair is down, it might go over top of your hair, and that's fine. And then you may color in. If you have room for eyebrows, go ahead and add those. If your face mask is covering up that part of your face, then no worries, you don't need to add that part. I'm also going to add some lines throughout my hair to show shades that you would see and the different flowing motion that you would see in the hair. Try to emphasize that. And lastly, if there are any other details that you want to add to your swimsuit or your face or hair, feel free to add those now. Next up, we're going to grab our white oil pastel again, and we're going to draw some circles on the white part of our paper. You can't see them now, but you will be able to see them later. These are going to be bubbles in the water. Next up, we're going to be painting the background with watercolors. We're going to be using the wet on wet technique, which means you need to get your paper wet first. However, you need to be very careful that you are only putting water on the white spaces of your artwork. Do not put water over top of your face or clothes or any of those other details. Just the white part of your paper, just the background, should be painted with water. Then you'll go ahead and use the liquid watercolors and start painting the background. With that wet on wet technique, the paint should spread out very easily and quickly. And for one last final touch, we're going to be adding a little bit of salt to the water background. That will make a neat effect when the paint dries.